Folks, Ian from The Underground Chef here, and today we're cooking one of Mum's favourite dishes that she taught us as a kid. It's the okonomiyaki. This dish was made famous from her region of Japan, Hiroshima, and when Mum came out in '52, she brought this recipe out with her. So, very simple recipe: flour, cabbage, beef mince, and spring onion. So the first thing we're going to do is make the batter for the pancake. So 1 cup of plain flour and some water, and we're just going to make a batter with that. So we're just going to add our water to our flour and just beat it with a whisk until you get a nice smooth batter. Make sure there's no lumps in there. So really give it a bit of a working through. You pretty much got all that flour mixed in now. Still a little bit too thick, so I'll just add a little bit more water to it. So we want it, as I said, it's a pouring batter. And you can see there that that's what we're sort of wanting to get to, that sort of consistency. So now that batter needs to rest for at least 10 minutes or so. So just put that to a side, just lets the flours relax and you get a smoother batter. So with our cabbage, so just looking for some shredded cabbage. So with our cabbage, I'm just going to do simple cuts through to cut the cabbage up. Just be mindful we don't want that centre root. If you're not confident with a knife, you can use one of these great devices, and you can actually shred your cabbage just by pulling it down. So it's simple, just pull it down and you can shave your cabbage. So either way, don't need a lot for this. Our spring onions, very simple. Again, just a simple cuts. Just roughly chopped, don't need to be super fine. It's just giving it a little bit extra flavour to the meal. Now our pan's on the stove and it's already preheated, so we're just going to give it a light spray so the pancake batter doesn't stick. And I've got a batter here that I've made up before, so it's been well rested. We're just going to put that in the center of the pan and we're just going to smooth it out. So that's our batter in the pan. Now with our toppings, so that's cooking away there now. We get our cabbage and we build this up fairly thick. So okonomiyaki is a lot of cabbage goes into the dish. So I'm just going to spread that around. Again, now our beef mince. Again, just spread that evenly over the top of the pancake. And then finally, some of our spring onions. And then just to finish this off, we're just going to get a little bit of the pancake batter and just pour that over the top, just to help set it when we actually flip and cook the other side. Now I'm going to put a lid on that and let that cook just for a few minutes. I'll just turn the heat up a little bit and that'll set the bottom side of that, but also help set the top. Now, Mum's version of okonomiyaki was when she came out in 1952. There was no Japanese ingredients that were available, so she had to improvise. So she made this dish using what she could find in Australian supermarkets back in the day in '52. She stuck with that recipe all through all my childhood, and it's become a family favourite. And it's a very simple dish, and all 8 of us, as in there's eight kids in the family, this needs to feed us all. One day version of this, it's going to cost you roughly about $2 a portion to make this dish at home. So it's very economical, as well as healthy and nutritious, and very simple to make. You could also make this dish on a flat barbecue, and you could make 2 or 3 at the time. If you're actually going to be making more of these, you can make them in advance, put them on a tray, put a layer of greaseproof over the top of the pancake, and just keep them all warm in the oven until you're ready to serve the whole lot. So that's a very simple way of producing it. So we'll just take the lid off there. We're just going to check to make sure that the bottom of our pancake is cooked through. Just going to give it about another minute or so. But what you can see now, that heat is filtering through, and we're trying to, as I said, set the top there. So I'm going to flip this, and this, sometimes you'll end up with the pancake going everywhere, but so just ease it over to the side, and then one move, flip it over. Now if you've got some bits of meat coming through, just force it back under your pancake. And then what we're doing is we're going to push down on this, and that'll help cook the meat and the cabbage, and also ensure that everything all sticks together. So once that's set, we're just going to let that cook for a few more minutes. Now, if you've been to Japan, you'll see okonomiyaki just about all over Japan, and there's different versions of it. On our recent trip to Japan, we saw, especially in the Hiroshima region, they add noodles to it. So udon noodles. You'll also see things like sliced beef. In fact, you don't have to use mincemeat. In fact, you can use anything you like. If you wanted to use seafood, pork, chicken, there's no set recipe for it. You'll also see the additions of things like fried eggs put onto the dish. And when it's served, they have their famous okonomiyaki sauce, which is a sweet tasting barbecue sauce. You also see drizzled with mayonnaise, and then topped with dried bonito flakes. So this is a really classic style of okonomiyaki that you'll see in Japan. Some versions I saw in Osaka, the cabbage is about 2 inches thick. I wasn't a particular fan about it because I didn't think that the cabbage cooked through, and it was not too nice eating raw cabbage. So Mum's recipe, as I said, is something that she created back in 1952, and we've eaten this through. Mum also couldn't obtain soy sauce, Japanese soy sauce as well. So that's a traditional condiment as well that you would serve with this. So we replaced it with good old Worcestershire sauce, and which was readily available. And we've served okonomiyaki with Worcestershire sauce all our life, and that's my favourite way of eating the meal. So it's a bit of East meets West style of food, and it works really well. So the okonomiyaki is getting close. We're just going to make sure we get underneath the meat to make sure that it's free. So when we do flip it, we're going to get the whole thing. In Japan, you'll go to okonomiyaki bars, and you'll actually sit at the counter, and the chef will come and cook it in front of you on the big flat grill. Really good way to actually really see chefs in action, and it's a great experience to actually sit there and converse with the cooks and chefs while you're sitting there having a drink and watching them produce their artistry. Okay, I reckon we're getting pretty close here now, so this is our final step in this, and we're going to flip it over again on itself. So again, if you've got any bits of meat just come off, that's fine. This is traditional, as I said, home style meal. It's not about fine dining. It's a simple meal that's easy to cook at home. I'm just going to crisp up that bottom side of the pancake, and then we'll be ready to serve it up. I'll give about another 30 seconds just to crisp that. What you're after is a crisp, you don't want it soggy, so you want a crisp base and obviously a crisp topping on top. So now to serve it, it's a matter of getting your pan. I'll just turn that gas off. Getting your lifter and then just sliding it off onto your plate. And again, if there's any extra bits and pieces left in your pan, just scrape them off. So our traditional dressing at the Parker family anyway was the Worcestershire sauce. Drizzle that across. There's no need to do any other seasonings or anything like that. We don't season it with salt and pepper. Just eat it like that. Now in Japan, when we sit down to eat a meal, before we eat, we say the term ikitagemasu. So folks, that's the okonomiyaki. Hope you really enjoy eating these. These are simply delicious and so easy to prepare at home. Till next time, see you then. Thank you.